Coming up next on All About Android, I'm Jason Howell. We got Florence on. We got Duncan Jaffrey from Osdroid.net. Both Flo and Duncan were at the Made by Google events in New York City and in Australia. So they've got the Pixel 4 in hand. They've got the Nest Mini in hand. Plus, they had hands-on time with the, they got to see the Pixel Buds, but they had hands-on time with the Pixelbook Go, the Nest Wi-Fi. We talk about all of it in intricate detail up next on All About Android.
Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Hello, welcome to All About Android episode 442. That's 442, recorded on Tuesday, October 15th, 2019. Your weekly source for latest news, hardware, and apps for the Android faithful. I'm Jason Howell.
And I am hey, you did a good crop. I'm Florence Ion. Sorry, this is a great crop.
Bravo on the crop, Victor. Normally your crop is way off base, but
yeah, I try.
I've got a webcam nose up. So yeah. I was expecting the worst.
Yeah, no, things are looking good. Flo, you are in, so you are in your hotel in New York City after going to the big Google event, which we are going to focus most of this show on. Go away, Google. So that's one hotel connection to contend with. On the other side of me is not Ron. Ron is off this evening. Unfortunately, he could not make it. But Duncan Jaffrey, Osdroid.net, also from an Australian hotel, which I've heard that Australian hotels are pretty awesome when it comes to internet connectivity. I haven't actually heard that, but what do you think?
Let's put that out there and hope that's the case. It's not looking great so far.
Yeah, we've had a couple of issues, but hey, this is what happens when Google holds events all across the country and the world. This is just the way it goes. If we want people on the ground at these events with devices that we will have in hand as we talk about them during this show, this is just what we got to do. This is the way it goes. Duncan, you were on this same episode last year, I realized.
I was.
Going back in time through our schedule.
Duncan has two. Ooh, what is that? You have an orange one.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe.
Duncan has things. Florence has things.
Why does Australia get the orange one? What?
That's a good question.
Well, you know what? They feel bad about all the things they make you wait for.
That's true. That's probably it.
Or never arrive.
Yeah, you're the only Australian that gets the device anytime soon. Every other Australian has to wait. What are we talking about?
The Pixel 1 comes out next week.
Oh, you're so lucky. I hear that it's reached the end of its update cycle. I don't know. Is that true? Is it still getting any updates? I don't even know.
I think it's good for the end of the year. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, at least there's that. Hey, I don't want to rob Victor of his opportunity to do a news bumper all centered on the biggest hardware announcement of the year by Google. So, Victor, take it away.
We were out for a few days because of the power outage, but I think the crisis was averted. Burke ate all the string cheese in the fridge, so they didn't go to waste.
Good. No spoiled string cheese.
Yeah.
Thank you, Burke, for doing the hard work that no one else wants to do.
But then isn't it just aged cheese at that point?
I don't know. If it gets too warm and I don't know, string cheese has a really weird shelf life.
It does.
It really
it's
can
disgusting.
last.
When it's in the lunchbox,
yeah.
Poor kids. Anyway.
Well, it was safe. Thanks to Burke.
Or Burke has an iron stomach. Either way.
Yeah.
All right. So big news of this week, of course, is the Made by Google event. Google held their event this morning initially. So that's where Flo is in New York City. Went to the event in the morning and then held an Australian event later. Duncan went to that event, I think, shortly before showtime. So we've got a couple of events and a lot of hardware. So let's start off with, I think, the hardware that most people are probably watching this show to know all about. You probably already know about it. The Pixel 4 and the 4 XL, which Google announced this morning. And it's a tall drink of water. And I feel like it's so familiar. Flo is.
Can you hear this ASMR through the hotel Wi-Fi?
Flo is taking the plastic wrapping off of the Pixel 4. Now, that is the Pixel 4, not the XL, correct?
No, listen, they know me. They know their audience.
Okay.
Flo does not want an XL. Flo is a regular sized phone. Here it is, and I'm going to turn it on. Hopefully it's slightly charged. It's kind of freaky. Oh, yep, these things come charged. Oh, it's really bright.
It's really bright, yeah, by default. Okay, so you've got the 4. I ordered the XL in white. I did not get the orange version. It appears you have the white.
Okay.
Duncan, you somehow got the orange version. Tell me, in person, does the orange look nice? Or because I'm not sold on it.
So we've got an XL and a standard here. Some people are going to love it.
Yeah.
I can't say that it's me, but I also have to admit to being a boring black slab of glass man myself.
Okay.
So, but look, it's distinctive.
It is.
If someone sees that, they're going to notice it's different.
Okay. All right. Well, it definitely does stand out, and it is a limited edition. You can only get it in the 64 gig configuration right now. Maybe 128 gigs will follow down the line. But since we're actually looking at these devices, just to kind of fill people in, if they haven't already been following the mountains upon mountains of leaks that make this probably the most leaked phone in the history of smartphones. The Pixel 4 5.7-inch 1080p display, the Pixel 4 XL with a 6.3-inch Quad HD Plus display, the Pixel 4 with a 2800 milliamp hour battery, and my goodness, that is a small battery for a premium smartphone. I don't know how I feel about that. So I guess time will tell as far as like whether that's enough. 3,700 milliamp hour battery for the 6.3-inch version. And otherwise, both models are identical to each other from what I understand. Both have the dynamic 90 hertz refresh rate, HDR certified display, 19:9 aspect ratio. Both have the Soli radar, which is the radar up top for motion sense. That's the air gestures sort of thing, even though they don't call it air gestures. I think that's a Samsung terminology, but Google's calling it motion sense for waving your hand in order to mute a phone that's ringing or skip tracks, that sort of stuff on your music player.
I brought a demo of that to the show today.
Did you? Okay.
I did.
So how do we see this?
So it should be in the Google Drive folder.
Okay. All right.
Oh, you know what? Actually, I forgot to upload the Pikachu one. Never mind.
Oh, no Pikachu
I'm terrible.
one. That's okay. Google,
I'm sorry.
Google kind of talked about that a little bit, or rather 9 to 5 Google did when they leaked this like a week ago, that there would be a game. Is it pre-installed on the device, or is it as like a demonstration of Soli?
It's a demonstration, and thus far, all I could get Pikachu to do was wave hi to me and blow me a kiss.
Okay.
So that's kind of the extent of it. I brought some shaky B-roll of the different, just the different sizes and colors. The orange is, by the way, in person, it's a very Halloween orange.
Oh. Okay.
So it's very, like, you know what I mean? Like, like when you buy a pumpkin to go trick-or-treating, like the little plastic pumpkin, it's sort of akin to that.
Man, you're not selling me on this orange.
It's not bad in person. I mean, it's too bad you're not really getting it from my shots, but I mean, I agree with Duncan. The black one has this really nice like sheen to it that is definitely, it's not like matte on the back the way that the white and the orange ones are.
Okay.
But at the same time, I don't know. It's a new design paradigm, and I think I am going to have to get used to it because I really liked the Pixel 3. So, I mean, and the Pixel 3a, like.
Well, and this is the first time in the Pixel phones where Google is stepping away from the kind of like the two-toned design, which actually on my 3XL, it's kind of hard to show because it's all white, but you know, you can kind of see the two-tone, the like shimmery glass, smooth glass up top, kind of frosted glass below. That's been like the signature design on the back of the Pixel line since it launched, and now they're going obviously in a very different direction. And that design language is traveling over to some of their other devices, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But you like this device, like in person after seeing it leaked all over the place, up and down. Duncan, finally having it in your hands and being able to use it. Like, what strikes you about the design?
I think it's exactly what we'd expect. One, based on the iteration of the Pixel 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, the rumors that we've seen. So it's familiar. It's what I expected. It's got the good hand feel, as people like to say. There's a nice heft to it.
Yeah.
Just bouncing between the twos. Obviously, the smaller one is slightly lighter. The display is quite nice. We have actually noticed that there's different color tone between the two displays when we turn them on side by side.
Oh,
so
that's interesting.
It'd be interesting to see if there's anything that comes from that beyond the Wi-Fi setup screen, which is as far as we've got thus far. They're using the cameras in the demo area. The night side is greatly improved, and the starlight photography is out of this world. They had a great little tent set up, which went into a dark room with all of these fairy lights hidden behind glass and mirrors, kind of as like standing in the stars. And the photo that came out of that compared to a night sight on a Pixel 3 was just night and day, pun intended. So look, it's where Google needs to be. It's a really nice move forwards. I think partly because of the leaks. There's nothing really about the hardware that's grabbed me today because I've seen it so often, but some of the software things they're doing are fantastic, especially with the new assistant, the neural core on the device itself, helping you to speed up Google Assistant, get more out of the device. It seems to have the continued conversation now on the device powered by the neural core. So you can start an engagement with the assistant on your Pixel 4 and just keep going. So you can say, show me my photos of Spain, choose the ones at night, please send that to Brian, for instance, and the Pixel assistant will just walk you through that. And it's hard to tell how much of that is the new assistant experience that will roll out in the future to everyone and slightly slower in Australia, and how much of that is going to need that neural core. And they didn't really elaborate, but they did say some of the new assistant features on the Pixel and other devices are going to be hardware dependent. But it's a great move forward.
Yeah. And I mean, the Pixel 4 is kind of is the launch device for the next second generation assistant software. Assistant's been around for a while now. So now we're seeing an official second generation launch. That hits with the Pixel 4 to start off with. And like they said, 10 times faster, much of that happening on the device, which they even hinted at, back at Google I/O earlier this year, that would be one of the key differentiators of the Pixel 4 and what it brings is that on-device computational capability. So definitely looks cool there. We mentioned the Soli radar for motion sense. They also mentioned that it has the fastest secure face unlock on a smartphone, that being because when you reach your hand towards the phone, the Soli radar will detect that and fire up the sensors needed for when it hits your face, instead of having to do it pull it up to your face, power it to turn it on, and then that unlocks it. It should be one continuous motion. Have either of you noticed that in as far as, or set that up yet at this point?
Nope. No. I did get to play with the assistant earlier that we were talking about, and that was fast, but it was all kind of like the same demos being shown throughout. Yeah. But as far as that goes, I feel like that stuff I wasn't super impressed with motion sense just from using the demos. Okay. It took me a while to get Pikachu to wave back at me, and to kind of understand what to do. Yeah. And I actually went into the settings to kind of see what motion sense was about, and it's super limited at present. It's not a robust feature. It's not like you can go in and set all these things up. It's just to make it a little easier. So, you can, go through tracks in a playlist, or, you can, I guess, turn on the phone, but it's such a subtle thing. This is really the thing that has to be tested in the real world. Yeah, exactly. That's a great way to put it, Duncan. It feels alpha.
Well, I feel like saying that it feels alpha is actually really critical. Like that's a critical statement. I feel like, which I'm not pushing back on it at all. I've not used it, but saying it's alpha makes me think that it just it's a poor execution right out of the gate. Would you?
Limited, not poor. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, we were doing the music demo. The first thing I wanted to do was stop the music. And what would you do with a device like that? I tried this. Nothing. So it seemed to only respond
Yep.
to a swipe that way or a swipe that way. Now it responded each time, every time. It was reliable. It did the same thing when I did that. But that seemed to be it. Swipe left, swipe right. Now that's good if you're Mr. Miyagi, but I was looking for a little bit more.
Yeah. We should all
That's a great
aspire
point.
to be Mr. Miyagi.
Yes, but Mr. Miyagi also knew when to put a stop to the violence. And somebody had a country music playlist on at the demo today, and there was no way to stop.
Mr. Miyagi couldn't help then. What is going on, Mr. Miyagi?
It's like, and Duncan's right. I was going like this. I was like, stop, and it would not stop. And so I was like, what the heck? So I went into the settings, and I'm like, there's nothing here. It's just 2, 3 options, and okay, that's cool.
It does what it does well. Google doesn't say it does anything other than that. So it's not that it's a poor execution. It's, I don't know what I imagined. And look, the person doing the demo quite rightly pointed out, we're dealing with radar here.
Yeah.
And I think what I was looking for was optical. But what I would say is it's a front-facing camera on there. They obviously know how to do it because they've done it in the Nest Hub Max, whatever they call that thing. And so maybe a hybrid approach where they're using the camera solely detects you. So, people who speak normal language within 60 centimeters of the device, solely will be activated. So it'll know you're there. It'll start kicking off the processes and start detecting things. So you get within 60 centimeters, it turns on that front-facing camera maybe. It sees your hand and the stop motion. It sees there's nothing else, and they bring all that together. That's supposed to be what Google's good at. And that's what I mean by alpha. Is I think they're going to add to this, probably in the lifetime of the Pixel 4, based on feedback, based on the data they get, and I think it will be better.
Yeah, okay, that explains it better. I think when I heard alpha, I was like, man, this thing must never work, because I think of some of the things that have felt very alpha that Google releases, and it's like, all right, this is way before it should be released. Google definitely thinks that this should be released now, so it better work out of the gate. So at least it's working. It's just a limited feature set. And I would completely agree. That was my worry going in, is here's this most amazing technology that Google's been working on that's very different from everything else in the market right now, and it launches with like 5 control features, a couple of those dedicated only to music apps. And it's like, I feel like there's so much more potential for more than that. Maybe at some point they open it up to developers, and developers can choose to do some interesting things with that. I guess that remains to be seen, but that would be the future of this solely radar technology that I'm really curious to see down the line, is what are creative uses for it that make you go, okay, that's neat, but that's like amazing, and I haven't seen that yet.
But if you say to me, should they take it out? 100% no. Okay. This is Google. This is what they do. This is exactly what I would want from Google. So this isn't a criticism, it's hope. Yeah.
Okay. That's good. Now let's see here. So we talked about the on-device processing, the on-device language hybrid model, which is going to help with the assistant. One thing we haven't really touched on are the cameras, which are another big feature here. And this is the first, right? Yeah, I had to check for a second to be like, wait a minute, were there dual cameras on the other one? No, there haven't been, which is kind of remarkable considering how amazing the cameras on the previous Pixels have been. They've been capable of doing so much. Now with the Pixel 4 and 4 XL, you get the two sensors, a main 12.2 megapixel sensor with optical image stabilization, f1.7 aperture, and then a telephoto 16 megapixel with optical image stabilization, f2.4 aperture. And I saw some pictures earlier. I think it was Android Police posted an article of an example of the super zoom that's happening on the sucker, and it's really, I mean, they've really improved that even more, to the point to where an 8x zoom, and I'm sorry I don't have the link in the doc, but an 8x zoom is just like, wow, that's like perfectly usable. I mean, it looked really good.
I cannot wait to test it out this week. I was kind of hoping to do some of that today, but oh my gosh, these things are very tiring. But I'm also very curious about the new night sight, just the ability to shoot those starry photos. Because Jason, you and I, we love to camp. We love to go out into the woods. Yep. And I would love to not have to carry gear with me besides my phone on airplane mode. That's kind of how I like to be out in the wilderness. Yep. I just want ebooks, music, and the camera to kind of shoot, being out where we are, and I would love to be able to just do those shots at night and take like the starry sky, and I'm really looking forward to trying that out. And I'm also tomorrow morning, I'm hopefully, when I leave for the airport, I'm going to try and see how this thing works at dawn, because they had mentioned, the night sight, you want to get creative with it. And I really like that was part of the presentation, because I think, and I know like Annie Leibovitz was up there like talking about that, which, by the way, was kind of cool to see Annie Leibovitz in person. I just want to say, I wanted to talk to her about her Demi Moore photo shoot of the early 90s, but unfortunately, she was not taking questions from the crowd. That's okay.
Just one question on Demi Moore. No.
Just one question. Will you shoot me? No, just kidding.
Right. Take a selfie of me, please. Although that's not really a selfie, but anyways.
Yeah, true. But I was just kind of impressed to hear that it really is just kind of about how like much legwork you put into the smartphone, and it's not so much anymore about, because smartphones are so good. And with the Pixels, the Pixel 3 was really good at dawn photos, like the sunrise. That was a thing that we don't really think about when we talk about night sight, because you think, oh, it goes at night, but when night turns into day, that's like another time when you want to kind of take out the camera. So I'm just really excited to I want to put these things on like a dual rig and just go out and like see how different they are.
Heck yeah. Super excited about the astrophotography capabilities of this.
And a shadow slider.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry.
So that's another aspect of this. So a lot of improvements here. Live HDR plus, basically an approximation of what HDR is going to look like when you're looking through the viewfinder. That's really neat. Now, instead of taking the picture and then looking at it later and being like, okay, the details in the window aren't totally blown out, you can actually see a preview of that. And like I said, it's an approximation. It's not exactly what you're going to get, but it gives you an idea of what you're going to get. So I'm looking forward to that. Dual exposure controls is what you were talking about. Brightness and shadows. There are two sliders that will appear in the camera interface by default, I think. And Aunt Pruitt and I were covering the live show this morning here for Twit Live News, and we were wondering like how confusing those controls might be for a photography newbie, for someone who just gets the but I have a feeling like it's simple enough, right? Like it's two sliders. Someone who's never used those kinds of controls before, they're going to reach for it at some point and move them around and go, oh, that was cool. It made the shadows look a little brighter, and I can actually see the faces now. So I'm curious to see how much of a difference that'll make.
Yeah.
It was. I had a hands-on with the start astral photography in the experience booth, and it was amazing. It takes night sight to the next level, and they had a camera where they'd taken some photos last night in and around the area, and it's amazing how it combines night sight and the astral photography, so that the ground level is like a night shot photography, so you can see all the buildings and everything around, but then the sky is perfect. With all the stars and all of the fuzz that are normally in the image is just gone, and it really was as impressive as the demos they showed.
Yeah.
And we recognized the landmarks. So these were taken date stamped last night.
Wow. That is awesome. I mean, night sight is just such a wonderful feature, and I use it all the time, and I love it. Also going to get learning-based white balance, so automatic white balance, machine learning based, so it can detect, one of the examples they used was, and I've totally been in this exact situation, go to an aquarium and you take a picture of someone and their face is the color of the aquarium because of the light shining through it and everything. Suddenly their face is blue. Well, the machine learning algorithm, the training that's been done there enough times recognizes that, hey, that's a human face. Faces aren't blue. Faces are usually this color, and makes the adjustments to automatically and dynamically adjust white balance in a scenario like that, just as one example, and make it so it's balanced appropriately. And I think that's just something that most people would appreciate if they even knew it was happening, but they probably won't, because their picture will just look good right out of the box and be like, hey, that's a great photo. They won't know what happened in order to make it great.
Mm-hmm.
It's a risky feature, though.
Could be,
so
yeah.
many skin tones and also to get someone's skin tone incorrect because of their sample size of what they've programmed it with, and we've seen Google have a couple of mistakes with that, and several of these AI-based image recognition systems have trouble with that. So I really hope they've tested that well, because I don't wish them ill.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I hope
that gorillas and all of those things. So let's hope that it gets those balances right.
Totally, 100%. And I have faith at this point that Google's really good at its machine learning, stuff. I mean, its photos are built on the foundation of it at this point. So, crossing my fingers that it plays out the way I think it will. Probably. They say wider range portrait mode with SLR bokeh, so that's good. And that's the cameras. They also mentioned the recorder app, which we showed off on the show a few weeks back because 9 to 5 Google and their avalanche of leaks about this device and
Actually,
everything.
I think that was XDA.
Or was it XDA? Okay.
Hard to keep track. That was when Michelle was on the show.
That's right.
Just want to give props.
No. I appreciate that. It was XDA. Now, just on that tip, I will say I was gone. Last week we were in Victoria, British Columbia, visiting my wife's grandma who's turning 95. And while we were there, my wife mentioned I really want our kids to interview my grandma and stuff. And I was like, I've got the best app for it. And so we totally used it, and it's amazing. Especially because I will say, her grandma has a very thick, I don't know if it's an East Coast Canadian accent or if it's from Victoria, but she has a definite accent that can be kind of somewhat difficult at times to understand. And this thing did an amazing job, and it's all searchable. It was like, this is what this app was made for. And I just never knew that I needed this app until suddenly Google made it. So it's really cool.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. White, black, and orange, of course. Pre-ordering today, begins today. Shipping starts October 24th. But if you're pre-ordering now, you're not getting it until later. You needed to get in early in order to get it that soon. The Pixel 4, the smaller version, starts at $799. The Pixel 4 XL starts at $899. I didn't actually look at a confirmed price on the top of the line Pixel 4 XL. Is it $999 for 128 gig? I'm assuming it probably is.
Probably.
Yeah, it's probably $100 more.
It's a lot as it is anyway.
So you're $1 shy of $1,000 mark on a Pixel phone, and some people would say I don't know that Google is justifying that cost.
I know.
I don't know that they are either. I don't know that any company is justifying $1,000 for a smartphone. But Google wants to be seen on that level. They want to be seen with their smartphone being as premium as anything else on the market. Duncan, do you feel like Google has justified their desire to be seen in the top tier?
There's a lot of division in the Osdrawing team. I'm firmly in the camp of high-end smartphones don't always deliver value for money. One of my phones is a Pixel 3A. It's fantastic. It comes in at 2/3 of the price. It doesn't deliver 2/3 of the experience. It has almost everything you could want.
Yeah.
So it will be interesting if a 4A comes out and what value that shows. You certainly get a little extra for your money. I feel that they jack the prices up. So, in Australian dollars, it starts at $1,049 with a 64 gig, 5.7-inch model and goes all the way.
Wow.
All the way up to 1,429 for the 128 gig Pixel 4 XL. Now, those prices, I've just been told from my colleague on the side, is that it's actually slightly lower in Australia than last year's pricing.
Oh,
so
really?
That's good for us to get. Maybe the dollar's strong at the moment, but they are certainly premium devices, but you are paying a premium. And for those who want to, great. You need these options. I just do feel that at that end of the market, there's just this wee bit of price gouging going on.
Just a little bit. Interesting. Okay. A few random tidbits here that I'll throw in. No buds in the box, no earbuds in the box, no USB-C to, headphone, 3.5 millimeter headphone jack converter in the box. No more original quality uploads to Google Photos. Remember the original Pixel? This was one of the major features was that when you have the Pixel, your photos upload in original quality. You're not getting that here. They're not What's that?
Sorry, I'm laughing. We ran out of room.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We can't fire up any more servers. I'm sorry. We're not made of money. We're just Google. They're not launching in India due to failing to secure permission to use the frequency range with the Soli radar. And in fact, Soli only works in countries that it's certified in. So if you happen to travel to an uncertified country, that radar gets disabled while you're there.
Wow.
That's interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And also just failing to secure the permission to use it in India is which prevents the phone from launching in that country.
Giant market? Yes.
That giant market that Google has said time and time again it's really focused on. Like that's a big fail.
Yes.
The Soli radar data stays on the device. The enhanced night sight is coming to the 3 and the 3A eventually. I don't know when that's happening. Live caption is exclusive to the 4 at launch, but then coming to the 3 and the 3A in December. And these phones are not compatible with Daydream VR because Daydream VR is no longer a thing. It has been canceled.
I have one small correction.
Oh, okay, cool. Correct me.
Earbuds are country dependent.
Oh, no way.
Oh.
So you guys were asking last week what would happen in markets that mandated that they have to have them. They'll get them.
Okay, and I was out last week, so I didn't catch that. I didn't know that was a mandate in certain countries. That's
Me
interesting.
either.
That is really interesting. Okay. All right. So then depending on your market, you might get buds in the box, but you're not going to get what we're going to talk about next.
Yeah, I was about to say. Good segue.
But the Pixel 4, 4XL, I'm very, very excited to get mine. And I think I'm getting mine Leo's gone. Leo and Lisa leave for like a month. His come while he's gone on like the 25th. So in a couple of weeks. And I think I'm going to get my hands on that and be able to do the review and everything while Leo's gone. So I'll take good care of it, Leo. I promise.
Make sure you get a case.
I did.
They're quite nice.
Yes. I really actually like Google's fabric cases for the Pixel phones. So I got one of those as well.
I also got a special case today as part of my little package, but it doesn't fit the phone that I have.
Oh. Well, that's too bad.
Oh.
It's an L, so maybe I'll give it to you, Jason, if you like bees.
Oh, okay.
And you like bees. Yeah, you like bees. They're good for the environment.
Oh, that would be perfect on my honeycomb device. Sorry, I couldn't resist. It's literally a honeycomb
It's more
design.
fun to look disapprovingly, though, in the camera when it's in the bottom quarter.
Okay, so let's move on to the buds. Man, we have a lot in this episode. I think we're probably going to just zero this episode specifically on the Google announcements and then the arena at this point because we have a lot to say. The Google Pixel Buds. And I'm interested in these because it's like Microsoft's earbuds, but a whole lot smaller. Right? Like it's almost the same thing, but a completely opposite size. Microsoft went
Victor,
big, Google went small.
Sorry.
No, go for it.
Victor, there should be a photo in the main drive folder to kind of show you the different colors and the charging case that they come in. I would like to say that I was not one of the lucky few that got to actually hold them.
Okay.
So since they're not, is it in there? Did I put it in there? I can't load it because I'm on hotel Wi-Fi and I don't want to ruin everything.
Victor says that he doesn't see it, but that's okay. We've got the shop site.
Sorry about that.
Don't worry.
Anyway, so I wasn't one of the lucky few to get my hands on them. I don't know that they were working. I think people were just handling them for video photography purposes.
They weren't working, yeah.
Yeah, and the ones that were on display, it was at the back wall where nobody was allowed to touch it. Now, obviously, some people got to touch these things. Now, I did not want to risk getting yelled at, so I did not touch anything. I was a good. I know I wasn't feeling super dangerous today.
Risk your invitation to any future Google event from the history of time. Come on, it's totally worth it.
But the colors are really nice in person. Obviously, you get the color schemes that match the phones. But of course, the real taste test is when you put them in your ear and you go out into the world. And, one of the things that I was talking to someone about was just the Galaxy Buds. Like, I wear them. They're here with me. I travel with them. I nap with them on the plane, and they're really comfortable. But the problem is, if you want to do anything super like jumpy, or maybe you're running across the street, you're usually putting your hand up to your ear to kind of like make sure it's staying in. Or if you're when at the gym, when you're super sweaty, like they kind of start to fall out. I sweat a lot, so I'm whatever. That's my my usage case. And so I'm curious. Some people don't, luckily, for them. But I'm super curious about how these are going to wear out in the world. Because I think, it's easy to have beautiful models, try them on for product photography and product shots. But it's another thing when you're out in the real world, just kind of like bouncing along and running after a bus or trying to cross the street into the last couple of seconds. Yeah. That's where the real stuff gets tested. So, but I don't doubt the sound will be good.
Yeah, so as far as these are concerned, Google has ditched the wire. God, go away, Google. Google has ditched the wire that goes from one ear to the other, which was their previous wireless take. Now it's true wireless, so just the bud that goes in the ear. It sits really flush with the ear. I feel like it looks really nice in the ear. It's got a low profile. They say it's a hybrid design for sealing in the sound, while also having a spatial vent that lets through some environmental sound, so you're not completely blocked off from the world, which I like, and I think a lot of people that
you
are
gotta
using
know
this
what people are saying behind you.
Yeah, or you're crossing the street, you got to hear the car horn, or you're running at night, you don't want to be completely blocked off. Like, there's a number of reasons why it's probably not a great idea to be completely sealed off from the world, and so I hope that spatial vent allows for that appropriately. Adaptive sound, which is dynamic volume adjustments based on environment. I'm a little skeptical on that. I guess I'm an audio nerd, so like this similar feature that you find in cars where when you're going faster, your volume turns up. I hate those features because I want a steady,
I do too.
calm and a steady sound quality, and that just bugs me when that happens. So hopefully there's adjustments to get rid of that. Or maybe it's really great and I wouldn't want to get rid of it. I'm not sure. It's always listening for Hey G command, or at least there's a feature to have it always listening. I don't know how that's going to hit the battery life, the battery performance.
I don't know how I feel about that, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know. See, I have Google Assistant access through my 2 pairs of Bluetooth. I have a pair of Bluetooth headphones for the gym, and I have a pair of the Galaxy Buds for everyday use. And so they both have their own toggles, which, it can be finicky. Like, for instance, if I'm trying to just send a message while I'm on the trail or whatever. But I prefer that to, I don't know. I prefer that.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel. There's a lot of talk about always listening.
Yes. Yeah. This is not the last conversation we'll have about this. Yes. Right. Exactly. With as much focus as they put on ambient computing throughout this event, it comes up a couple of times, and we'll talk about it a little bit later on another device. How do you feel about it, Duncan? Like, I kind of feel like having the option of an always listening Hey G assistant, in my ear is, in my mind, I'm going to use it more in that regard instead of having to reach up and tap, because a lot of times on these truly wireless headphones, it's not a capacitive touch. It's like an actual physical button, and all that does is push the thing into your ear canal, into my ear canal, and I just find it uncomfortable. So I like the fact that it's always listening, or at least that the option is there. What do you think, Duncan?
I think option is the important word. They really did focus on privacy. Again, it's obviously something they get hammered with, so they're going to get in front of that. So I think you'll find the always listening is going to be an option. They've got the ability to delete everything you've said just by a voice command now, and they're enhancing that. But I'm a big fan of fully wireless earbuds. I'm also a 3.5 millimeter headphone tragic. So, there's a bit of a two worlds colliding there.
Yes.
I want my port, but I love my headphones.
You want it all.
So I think, yeah, I do. I always want it all. I'm excited for these. The Jabra 65Ts and hopefully the 75Ts when they come out, it's my baseline for what are good. Some of the other guys in the team, like the Jaybirds and so forth. But the little hook that they've got on those, I've found to be integral. The devices that come with those, they do hook into your ear quite nice and snugly. You adjust the tips and, it's never one size fits all. There's going to be people's ears are too big or too small, but a lot of people are going to find that these probably will fit in and stay in quite nicely. I prefer push buttons over touch control because I actually wear them while laying in bed, and I'll put my head flat on a pillow and it activates the thing.
Okay.
So
good point.
I'll be interested to see how voice control goes because I'm completely in the talking to everything mode. I walk around, I've got a Google Smart Display or Google Home in every room in my house.
It's just really eager to help right now.
It is. In fact, I've even got a Google Mini I travel with so that I can listen to podcasts in my hotel room. So, I love the ambient computing. I'm all in it. I speak to my devices constantly. So a set of earbuds that I could talk to, I'd really love. And if it's always listening and reducing that friction, that's something I'd be interested in. And that could be enough to put me over into the Pixel Bud category rather than another, because you're right. Having to invoke it is another step. When my hands are wet from doing washing up or I'm doing something with the cats or whatever I'm doing, I frequently are in a situation where I want to interact with my buds, but my hands are busy or wet or not able to be used. So being able to have always listening and bring Google up, and if it works as well as it does everywhere else, I'm truly excited for that. I'm really disappointed I didn't get to see them. I'm really disappointed they're not out today. I really don't like the white case, but I think in general they look fairly exciting. I also think the monitoring your jaw position and the vibrations through your jaw and then using the beamforming mics to get crystal clear audio, I'll see if that's marketing speak or if it actually works. That's another feature that could distinguish it. Because I get complaints even on my really good Jabras that the calls aren't clear sometimes. But anything anyone can do. And, a little bit of Google magic with the EQ control and the voice control, let's see what they can do.
And I missed in the announcement the feature that you just mentioned, so I'm happy you brought that up because that's always a challenge when you've got your mic all the way up here. It's got to somehow reach to your so maybe Google can do what it does with so many other things and use its smarts in creative ways to improve on that. Let's see here, 5 hours of charge on the earbuds. 24 hours of charge with the charging case. It does have a USB-C charging port, so that's good. One disappointment, and I'm hoping that I'm proven wrong, but if you go to the store page, you'll see that it talks about connecting to Bluetooth 4.0 devices. It doesn't explicitly say these are 4.0 Bluetooth 4.0 earphones. It just says they can connect to Bluetooth 4.0 devices. I'm assuming that means they're 4.0, and that's just kind of a bummer from a distance standpoint. Even though they touted that it could, these could reach the distance of a football field or 3 rooms or whatever. I find Bluetooth resilience in the home is always less than they tout, and Bluetooth 5 I've noticed does actually make a difference in that regard. So seeing that they're 4, kind of feel like that's a little bit of a step backwards, but. Maybe
I'm not sure they will be 4, Jason.
Okay, I hope not.
My reading of, and again, it doesn't explicitly say, so a little bit of hope here because I want Bluetooth 5 earbuds so I can have a left or a right in, which is another use case. I want individual pairing rather than pairing one and going to the other.
Yeah.
But the way that when we looked through the press materials they sent, it was sort of insinuating that would be for some of the easy pairing features, not the one-click pairing that you get with Pixel device, but the context and the marketing, the press materials did talk about that being a pairing feature. So I'm hoping that doesn't mean that it's a Bluetooth 4 device. If this is Bluetooth 4, and then when we get to the Wi-Fi router, they've got that at the wrong level too. I really have to question the longevity of Google's thinking.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I really hope that you're right. And that was kind of where I was confused, because when I was reading through the store page, I was like, well, it doesn't really say that it's not a Bluetooth 5.0 device, or it doesn't even say that it is a Bluetooth 4.0 device. It just says something about connecting to devices via Bluetooth 4.0. I feel like if it's 5, like they should be shouting that through the rooftops, or from the rooftops, because that's a big feature in my experience anyways. These will be available 2020, springtime, I believe they said, for $179, which I think, it's pricey for wireless earphones, but it can get a lot more pricey than that. So I feel like it's kind of middle of the road for the high quality, truly wireless earphones right now. And I'm very curious about them because I love my Jabra 65Ts. The Elites are great. So we'll see. Let's see here.
All right.
I know, we're just going one by one, knocking them down. Next
we
up,
got lots to talk about.
Yeah. Next up is the Pixelbook Go.
Yes, which I really got to go hands-on with.
You did, okay. So so this is the next series of Pixelbooks, not a convertible, not a slate. They're like, you know what works for us? The traditional clamshell design. So let's just do that. So you got some hands-on time with the Pixelbook Go. What did you think?
Victor, if you wouldn't mind starting off that slideshow, since my video is apparently not buffering. Thanks, Marriott.
Hashtag thanks, Marriott.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Yes, there you go. Thank you, Victor. Thank you, Victor, for putting up with my shenanigans today. Okay, so first off, I wanted to show you here that I'm holding the Pixelbook Go like a tray of pastries or whatever I'm delivering to people. Okay. And that's because the big thing that they were telling us when we went over to that particular table was we made it so it's super light. It's not like super dense. So you could just like pick it up with one hand. And so I did. And at one point I was maneuvering the Pixelbook Go and my DSLR, and they were like, do you want some help with that? And I was like, no, you made it light enough. Like, it's fine. And it is. It's a lot lighter than the last Pixelbook. Not as dense. But then you kind of think about what you're giving up. So it is very thin. I know they had made a big deal about it being, 13 millimeters thin? I think.
Yes. Let's see here. Well,
it is very thin.
Yeah, the dimensions I have, not in millimeters, I realize. 12.2 inches by 8.1 inches by 1/2 inch. So a 1/2 inch tall, right?
Yeah. USB-C ports as a standard, headphone jack as a standard.
Courage.
Really, actually, let's just go through the slideshow. I'm going to try and not go out of order. The bottom of the Pixelbook has this like ridgy kind of effect to it. It's a tiny bit grippy, but not super so. And it kind of makes it, I don't know, it just makes it so you know kind of like which side you're putting down sort of thing. I don't know. It's
neat.
Something new.
Yeah.
It's,
I can see why that might actually be kind of nice from a grippability standpoint on a laptop. Because I do find the Pixelbook, when I'm running from my office to the studio sometimes, it's just so slender and slippery. So having a little bit of that grippy bottom might actually be kind of nice when you're in a hurry.
Yes, exactly. Victor, if you wouldn't mind going forward. And okay, so to the keyboard. Now here's kind of just the Pixelbook Go open and hanging out there. The keyboard was another thing that they really. Oh, there's the not pink one. This is like This is perfect pictures, like family vacation photos that we're doing right now.
Pink.
Right, that's the point.
Oh.
This is the not pink version. I actually tinted it a little pink in Lightroom. Sorry, to kind of make it more pink. I'm sorry, I lied to you all. But then I just told you the truth. So honestly, it's really pretty in person. It's a nice blushy pink. It's just as light as the black one. The keyboard is kind of the big kahuna of this. They wanted it to be really comfortable, but I gotta tell you guys, I really feel like they are not getting people with long nails like me, because when I was getting in there trying to type, I was typoing like constantly. And I didn't want to say anything, but I probably should have. I should have said, "Did you get anybody with long nails to like really type on this? Did you get a journalist with long nails, aka me, to type on this for extended periods of time?" Now, I have no problem with the original Pixelbook because I have softened those keys up. When you use something for a long time and you just kind of like wear it in. Mm-hmm. The thing with these is they feel really nice and soft. They're also quieter, but because of that, I feel like it's easy to kind of not push one, because if I'm typing with my nail and I'm not pushing down enough with the nail, that key is not going to get pushed down, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So this is a little nuance, but these are like things that I think about because I want to be considered for these. So, Victor, if you wouldn't mind going further, there's the bottom of the Not Pink. Again, I did enhance the color on this a little bit, but it is very bold like this on the bottom. It's nice.
Oh,
and so, yeah.
Is that similar to the orange?
It's not. That was a Flo editing trick, and I apologize.
Oh, so
it's not orange.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It does kind of look similar to the orange.
Yeah. I didn't adjust it too much, but it does look like pinker in person.
Okay.
It's like an orange pink on the bottom.
Okay.
The grippy part is a little different. If you go to the next slide, Victor, and you notice like those keys, it's actually like there's a lot of colors going on the Not Pink one.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is. But it's a colorful, it's a colorful Chromebook. So at least.
Cool.
This is just just to show you one last little thing. So the speakers was another thing they made a really big deal about. Again, they were playing YouTube videos to just kind of show that they're louder than the last Pixelbook. And so, I kind of think of it as it's a college laptop. This is the college student equivalent of the Pixelbook. It is not power user status, even though you can get it with that Core i7. Just because you can't use the Pixel Pen, it's not a convertible. It's nice, but and I get the display is really nice in person. Okay. I will also say that. I don't know. I'm just so used to the last Chromebook, and we've been together for such a long time. Just thinking about replacing it with something else that isn't a convertible. I don't know. It's just it's hard.
Okay. Now I'm kind of curious whether
about that.
Yeah, how I feel about it. I mean, I just assumed it's the next Pixelbook. I'll be upgrading to it so that I can use the latest and greatest Google thing. But you're saying, from what it sounds like, you don't feel like it's an upgrade.
I don't think it's a downgrade. I think it's just another model to add to the library.
Yeah. Okay.
All
right. I mean, and I've said time and time again, like this Pixelbook that I have, is 2 years old now. But I notice zero reason for me to replace it. Like, I've not come into an experience with it where I'm like, oh, now it's showing its age. Like, that just doesn't happen. It has not happened yet. So, but I am curious to play around with these.
Sorry. No. This is being marketed like a student laptop. Okay. From what I think, because they're marketing the fact that the sound is really good, so you can listen to music on it, and you can, the display is really high res, so you can stream on it. You go and you're watching Netflix and you binge watch. The keyboard's really comfortable and quiet, so you can bring that to class or where you are in public spaces and not like bother people. The trackpad, by the way, is super smooth. Okay. I love what they're doing with the trackpad. I still think it's second to the MacBook.
Yeah. I love the trackpad on the original Pixelbook.
Yeah. This is definitely for folks who just have no use for the convertible, and but it's not an upgrade. Like, I wouldn't ditch your old Chromebook for this unless you really wanted that pink or black color.
Yeah. Huh. Well, I would still love to see one and play around with one, and hopefully get the opportunity to do that because I am very curious about it. But it does have the Intel Core M3, i5, and i7 as options. Up to 64 gigs of RAM. Sorry, I misread that. I was like, what the heck? Up to 16 gigs of RAM. So 8 or 16 gigs. And then 64 and 128 and 256 gig storage options. It also has a
development in Stadia.
What's that? Yes, right. Good for Stadia. Also, that 4K, the optional 4K Ultra HD molecular display would be great for Stadia. The display is now 16:9, not 3:2 aspect ratio. That's one where I'm kind of iffy because I actually do kind of like the 3:2 aspect ratio a little bit more.
Yeah, but again, binge watching.
Yeah. I understand.
Student, I feel like when I bought a laptop in college, this is how I was marketed.
Okay.
Too. And so it just really brings back flashbacks of those memories, which is fine. They're very nice laptops, but not gonna ditch my current book for them.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Duncan, did you get to go hands-on with the Pixelbook Go? Any of the models there?
It's time for my annual Australian rant about products not coming to Australia. So
okay. All right. We've queued you up.
The Google has never marketed their Pixelbooks first party in Australia, so we have to import them when we get them. We're big fans of Chrome. I've got a Chrome OS computer at home. It's a tool in my arsenal. It's not an everything computer, but it's a computer I definitely use weekly, if not daily. I don't think it was ever intended to be a replacement for the premium business and Chromebook. When you have a look at even the brand new Chromebook Go, I think right up front they're letting you know this is slightly different. Sorry, Pixelbook. They're telling you it's something slightly different. The styling is different. As Flo said, the marketing is different. So this is not and was never intended, in my opinion, to be a replacement for premium anodized aluminium, magnesium Pixelbooks that the business users love. Now, they're getting a bit old and people want those refreshed, but that's just not what this product is. Do we have them? No. Do I get to see them? No. Would I like to see them? Same as you, Jason. I'd really love to go hands-on with this and see what it's like. Yeah.
Right on. Okay. Well, that clarifies a lot more for me from the announcement. That gives me a better understanding. Love the Husky approach, by the way. I was just home earlier and my wife was home with her MacBook, her, like, what is it, a 2018 MacBook, and the keys that go and we're just like, oh man, those keys suck compared to the keys like the one on my Pixelbook, and of course these quieter keys. So love to see that.
I'd like to point out what went into making the clip that we're showing now. For those that are seeing it live, it's the trailer of people sitting in zero G in an aeroplane. The actors doing this would have been subjected. I'm up to about 40 different takes now, so that is 40 up and down in a large airplane to get that weightlessness for a few seconds. That is a massive undertaking for a 30-second commercial.
Yeah, and next time Google does that, they should hit me up because I would totally do that.
I'm free for it.
Let's see here. Okay, a few other products to get to. The Nest Mini, which is basically...
I'm opening it right now.
Oh, that's right. So you got the Nest Mini. This is nearly identical to the original Google Home Mini, as Flo is showing right now, as Duncan is showing. Everybody's got one but me. Fine.
Look at this hook. Look at this hook.
Would you just take a look at the hook?
I'm sorry my video isn't great today, guys.
Just look at that hook. So moderate, I would say, refresh. Although, it's the Google Home Mini has been out for a couple of years. Again, go away, Google. And we're getting a moderate update here. What do you guys think? I mean, it's got better bass, supposedly. They've added a third mic for better voice detection. Also proximity detection, so it lights up as you approach it. Has a dedicated machine learning chip with 1 teraops compute. So basically more local on-device processing, which is kind of a movement that Google is heading on a lot of these products, it seems. Intercom ability, so you can call from one to the other from inside the home as well as from outside. That's really neat, and I hope that comes to all the other Google Home devices or Nest Home devices, whatever you want to call them. And they're using recycled plastic bottles and fabrics, which is kind of good for, good for the earth.
This is this is part of the. He might have this today because I called him after the event to kind of give him a rundown, and I was just saying, we're going to get a couple of changes to the ecosystem in our house because we have original Nest products, and we have these products. And they had mentioned about kind of a little bit of interoperability between the two, and just how you're going to be able to like use some of the Nest smart speakers to listen in, for instance, if there is a fire alarm or something of the sort.
Yeah.
And so I just think about making these really accessible to folks, so that and really easy to make, and they're kind of making them out of recycled material. This is all like just to make it like, oh, well, I'm just going to go out and put a couple in my home, and I have an intercom system. I have a home group immediately so we can all listen to the same thing or whatever. I could put one in each of the kids' rooms and like affix it to the wall, and they have like a little stereo kind of thing. This is just part of that. Put it all in your home, make it easy. And they I feel like they were saying, why fix it if it isn't broke?
Yeah.
Kind of thing in terms of the design. And they just added the hook to make it so that you didn't have to go out and buy like a $10 third party Macaulay just to kind of get it to do what you wanted it to do.
Yeah, very smart.
And, it's going up. It's going up in my house.
Yeah.
So
right on. Okay. So yeah, and I've got one on order. I'm very curious to compare it to the original. Still $49, so they're keeping the price consistent. Still $49, and probably Google's going to have like crazy blowouts on these things as they've been doing with the original Google Home Mini. So you'll probably see price drops around Black Friday and Christmas and stuff. Pre-order today, October 22nd availability. What's the Australian release schedule for this, Duncan? Is it soon, I hope?
It is. So it'll come out later this month. It's 79 Australian dollars, which, just like yours, is the same price as the original Google Mini. I was originally really happy that it kept exactly the same design and shape, and I thought, okay, great, because I've got a portable battery pack that I put my old Google Home Mini in, and that's great for sort of traveling with. But it turns out that they have removed the micro USB slot, and it's just back to a standard power adapter. So all of those legacy accessories aren't going to be compatible, despite the fact that comparing the two, they look to be pretty much identical. Not a big deal, I guess. I was a little disappointed that the rumours of a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, thus enabling this to become a Chromecast audio replacement or semi-replacement, so that you could get your old wired speakers and get some Google goodness into those, isn't there. There's Bluetooth dongles and so forth that you can use.
Oh, okay.
Not a huge shame there, but when the FCC pictures leaked and they didn't have a space for it, we thought that might be an erroneous leak. But overall, like I said, it's just a minor refresh. I'm looking forward to the extra sound. I've got a few of these around the house. I'm interested to listening to it. It's certainly frustrating. They just move slightly on your table and you go to tap the side of it to change the volume. You're tapping the wrong bit. So having those lights come on when your hand gets near, that's a user experience improvement. That's a 2.0 generation uplift. It doesn't sound like much. It's easy to dismiss. But if you've got one in your house, it will make a difference. So, it's a nice iterative upgrade. I don't think this category needed much else.
Yeah, except how far down the line do you think it's going to be before Google starts adding Solly Radar to this? Because this seems like a device that would actually really benefit from the swiping over the top to turn the volume up and down. Like, it seems almost ideal for it. I'm kind of surprised. Although they got to roll it out and test it and stuff like that. But I almost guarantee you that's somewhere on the product pipeline. It's going to happen at some point.
Yeah. I think the Pixel 4 being that sort of early dev program, they're going to test it this year and see what they can do. I was screaming that they should have had a Solly chip in the Hub Max. Now I'm thinking maybe not. Maybe it is just let it sit in one product, test that one product, and then roll out meaningful features after that.
Not only that, now that I think about it, Google has to go through all of the gymnastics of clearing, the certification in all of these different countries. This buys Google some time for a product that, I mean, is it safe to say that the Google Home catalog, it has been more of a success for Google from a units sold perspective than Pixel devices? I actually don't know the answer to that, but I certainly see a lot more people talking about having a Google Home in their house than people saying I have a Pixel device out in the wild. And so maybe this allows Google to button up those relationships, button up that certification in all these different places, that when they do bring it to the home, it can go everywhere instead of being hamstrung and limited. But that's totally speculation.
I think it'd be right if you look at unit shipped. I mean, sometimes you buy a box of cereal and get a free Google Home Mini in it.
Yeah.
They're just giving them away, which
Totally.
is a fantastic play. You want that gateway into people's houses. You want them using it. I get more questions about Google Home and Assistant Voice than I do anything else. When people ask me about stuff,
Yep.
phones and all that, I don't care about. But, assistant speakers, that's what I get most questions. Oh, can it do this and can it do that? It has people interested. This ambient computing, I think they really are onto something.
Yeah. Agreed. And finally, the Nest Wi-Fi, which is basically an upgrade of Google Wi-Fi from a few years ago. This is the kind of internet mesh network that you can create in your home. Now they're doing a new configuration approach which includes one router and then Wi-Fi point devices that you sprinkle throughout your home as needed. Though they say in most homes, all you're going to need is the one router and then the one Wi-Fi point device. And I think they said like 85% of homes, that'll be enough. But Qualcomm, what do you think, Flo?
Where is that going to? Okay.
I mean, I don't know, but
do they know
said
how big the houses are in the rest of the United States?
Yeah.
They're huge McMansions. You're telling me that? I'm sorry. I'm dubious. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they're probably pulling from some statistic out there that says that X number of U.S. homes are this size, and who the heck knows how they come up with a statement like that.
I mean, that's
what they
fair.
claim.
That's fair. I'm just thinking about a big old house in Texas.
Yeah.
You know what I
mansion.
mean? And like,
a Google
what if you
mansion.
want Wi-Fi out to the backyard? How are you going to make that happen?
Well, that's
Anyway.
maybe a different story. Qualcomm.
You buy the extra.
Oh, sorry. Was that?
You buy an extra. I mean, that is one thing about the mesh. You can just keep adding them on.
That's true. Absolutely
right.
true. So if you get the packs, which this is usually how people do it, right? $269 for a 2-pack, $349 for a 3-pack. If you want to buy the router standalone, that's $169. If you want to buy a Wi-Fi point standalone to add to your setup, that's $99. So you find you need one down the line, it's $100 US, and you can add to it pretty easily. As far as like differences here from the Google Wi-Fi, it's got a Qualcomm 400 chip inside to field assistant commands and drive the new assistant speaker that is now included. So these things aren't just driving your Wi-Fi throughout your home. They're like, if we've got this in your room, we might as well put a speaker and an assistant on it, and that makes perfect sense. I always wondered why that wasn't on the initial one. You can even do things like say, hey, G, pause Wi-Fi for the kids' devices. That was one of their demonstrations, and bloop, their Wi-Fi goes away because it's time for dinner. It's also 2 times faster, 25% better coverage over the original Google Wi-Fi. As I stated, they've made some improvements to make that better. That is Nest Wi-Fi, and you got some pics of that. But what do you guys think? Is this just kind of like, okay, it's meaningful update, I suppose?
It's nicely
I have a
designed.
few,
I definitely want to get one.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Duncan. Go ahead.
You have a look at the dock, Victor. I put a photo in there. We got our hands on one and flipped them upside down because the original Google Wi-Fi's had LAN ports on all of the models.
Yeah.
And so if you had a slightly further, like a larger house, like I was saying, in Australia, we like to build things big. We've got a lot of space. So I've got a larger house, I guess, and I have all of mine connected by LAN because the distance they're apart, the Wi-Fi connection would be pretty sketchy. But you can see there the main router has a WAN in and a LAN out to go into a switch, but all of the satellites do not. So if you want to hardwire that into
That's
your
not
network to
good.
get solid, reliable connection, it's not there. So that's another. I would love to have seen to go PoE, like, lean into that even further, as an option at least. But I'm sure their answer will come back that we've looked at our data and our research, and 90% of customers don't wire it up by LAN. But that keeps on being their answer to so many things, and they keep worsening the tech and dumbing things down and making things worse for power users. Because the majority of people just aren't educated that it is an option or have things set up. But for those of us who have crawled through their roof on their belly for 4 days straight and put categories throughout their entire house, you can't get the advantage of that system, which for me rules this product out, as does, I think, not having Wi-Fi 6. So I've got an original Google Wi-Fi. This doesn't compel me to upgrade specifically. And while their answer that Wi-Fi 6 isn't supported and it's too early in the market, it's a chicken or an egg. You get a good 6 years out of a router if you've got a good router.
Yeah.
Continual update on these mesh routers does mean that in 6 years, I am going to have multiple Wi-Fi 6 devices, which means this is not a product I think I can buy.
Yeah.
I think that's a big miss by them. So, maybe I'm an edge case. I mean, look what I do. I'm clearly on some of the fringes of technology. For me, not having the LAN on the points and not having Wi-Fi 6 kind of rules them out. I'll be looking elsewhere, even with all the cool assistant integrations.
That is interesting. That's a good point. They did say that these will be compatible with the other systems.
You are so right.
Yeah. Yeah. If you happen to get one of these, but you have old points in your house, I think that they're cross compatible or something. I think I remember hearing something about that. So,
but they confirmed that's so you can buy the individual packs of the points and add them into your existing router, and it'll just blend straight in.
No, that's
it's
good.
Unclear whether the thread radio is in all the devices or just the main one, because they've added the thread protocol now for IoT. So It's also a beefed up hub with Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and thread protocol. So the only reason I would add one of these to my existing setup is if I wanted thread, and this would be my gateway to get it if the point has it. That might be enough because I could get a little upgrade to get that. But there's not a lot of thread products on the market at the moment. Zigbee, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and Z-Wave really are the big ones, although Z-Wave probably less so of late.
Right. Awesome. Well, I think that we've pretty much hit the big points. Just a couple of random tidbits. Stadia is launching officially November 19th for the people who got on the early access, I can't remember what they call it, thing. So if you're part of that group, you're going to get it November 19th. So they have an official date. The Pixel phones are going to be the first phones to support Stadia. No surprise. But so November 19th, get ready to hear a lot of hot takes on Stadia. Nest Aware, which is kind of the system or the service that monitors all of your Nest products, for like home security, that sort of stuff. They have new monthly rates for all Nest devices, $6 a month and $12 per month, which is going to hit early 2020. The submarine is going under, so my apologies there. And finally, home apps are going to tap into home devices to be always on microphones for monitoring as well. So very interested in this. In what that will mean, opening up my home app and tapping into the microphone of my Google Home to hear how things are going or whatever. I guess that's similar to kind of the intercom thing we were talking about earlier, but I can already, see the article headlines like Google privacy, always on microphone. So I'm sure we're going to hear something about that. But I think that's a neat feature, and I'm kind of surprised that we haven't had the option to do that. What do you think, Duncan?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. I think things are overblown, but there are many people in the world who are in domestic situations that aren't rosy, and the ability of someone to be able to drop in and listen in on a room that, and it's not announced in a very clear way, and I don't say that's how it is. Perhaps if someone listens in, it'll be very clear.
Hopefully so.
That has some personal safety concerns that I'm not saying it's an issue. That's the question I have is if I can just drop in a room, how do the people in that room know they're being listened into? Even if it's a room in my house. Yeah,
that's a really, really good point. And you can kind of see it both ways, right? Like if obviously if it's in your home, if you're in your home, you want to know when someone is listening in on you, so you want the announcement. If you're away and you think someone might have broken in and you want to listen, but you don't want to alert them of you listening, maybe you don't. So how do you balance both of those things, I guess?
Yeah. And all you've got to do is install a Wi-Fi camera. There won't be any announcement. I can drop onto my, we only have them on the outside of the house, but I can drop in and view that and no one knows I'm there. So it's no different to products that are already on the market. The problem for Google is they've made a change, and that change has brought in a different profile of features and a different profile of use cases. So it's just, I think they really need to get in front of that. But it is. I mean, I love nothing more than stalking out on my front door camera when I know my family are coming home and I'm working late and going, boo. You know, and, you know, they look up the camera and they go, oh, daddy, and, you know, and it goes on from there. So it's not all bad, but there are use cases where that needs to be thought through.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Cool. I think we did it. I think we covered almost everything from the event, and both of you were on the ground at each of these events and have hardware to show. So I'm sure, you know, as far as the hardware is concerned, Duncan, I'm sure you're going to be writing a lot at Osdroid.net on that, the Pixel phone, and then of course you have the Nest Mini, and whatever else you get your hands on. And then Flo, well, we're going to hear more on this show, and of course Material Podcast and all the other places that you talk about your hardware as well. So we've got a lot more coming in all different directions. Let's transition here. So before we get into the arena, I just want to let you know, probably most of you know this already, but we love you. It's true. You guys are awesome. You guys keep us doing podcasts every day. And I know for myself, I've done podcasts for years now. I wouldn't be doing and enjoying my life as much as I do because you guys care enough about the content that we're producing. So this is just an opportunity to say thank you to the folks who put together all this content. Obviously, I'm just a host on the network. We've got producers, we've got editors, engineers, support staff, so many people working behind the scenes to bring this content to you. And they're all awesome. They're all doing hard work. And that's to bring you these podcasts that are free. Of course, they're ad supported. So really the easiest thing that you can do to hook us up, if you haven't already, is subscribe to our shows. That's how podcasts work. Most of you already know this, but some people actually go out and seek that content on a per episode basis, and it's just more work than it really needs to be. So you subscribe to our shows, then we know that you're watching. You get the stuff, the stuff that we're creating without any effort, and everybody wins. So thank you for listening. We've got more of this show. I don't want to feel like this is the end of the show, but I just wanted to remind you, subscribe, go to twit.tv/subscribe, and you can find more details. And you guys are awesome. Thanks for always watching, and thanks for keeping tuned in to all the Android stuff that we talk about each and every week here on All About Android. And with that, it's time for, I think, one of the segments that people tell me they like the most from our episodes, and that is the arena.
So many enter, but only one lives. Android Arena.
All right, so twit.to/AAApoll441 is where you awesome people went to vote last week. I was out, of course. Ron, Flo, and Josh Vergara were representing in the arena, and it appears that Call of Duty, no, it was Business Calendar, 78 with 45%. There we go. That's the number I need. 45% of the votes for Business Calendar. Second place, Call of Duty Mobile at 32%, and third place, Scarlet Notes at 22%. So yours was Business Calendar, Flo?
Yeah, that's why I'm like, wow, that was.
It's a great app.
It's a robust calendar app. It's a great, and it's on the Play Pass. Oh,
okay. Well, I'm not surprised. It's a legacy app that's been around for a long, long time. God, I'm checking the search tool because I could have swore I brought that at some point. But no, but it's not in the search tool. So apparently I didn't. I mean, and honestly, if I had, it literally would have been years and years ago. Because I remember Business Calendar was one of the first apps that I really got into the widget for, back when widgets were a thing that we all did.
I still widget,
some
by the way.
people still
I'm
widget.
still a widget user.
Yeah. But when they were new, I guess is what I mean. So, anyways, congratulations. So you won with that. And Wade County has the results through week 40. And thank you, Wade County. Flo, you are still in the lead. You're in a commanding lead right now, 132.
I know. It's unsettling me.
Oh, well, don't let it unsettle you. You're kicking butt right now. 132 guests are in second at 111. I'm in third at 84, and Ron is in fourth at 81. So Ron and I are fighting for last. But good job, Flo. All right, so Flo, you will go last. I will go first. Duncan, you'll go in the middle. And I just realized I didn't bring in a plant. Do we have a plant hanging out here? Do we happen to have a plant of some sort? I don't think that we really do. All right, let me pull up a picture of a plant. Why? Because I'm going to identify it. Because that's what I'm doing in this episode of All About Android. So I'm going to pull up a white jasmine Arabian plant in pot. And I'm going to open it in a new image on my laptop. And let's see if we can fit this into the view here. Oh, we've got that's even better. Okay. That works. All right. So this is, let me read that again, a white jasmine Arabian plant in pot. I did not test this before the show. My app is called PlantNet, and it's all about identifying plants. And actually, it's got a nice design and everything. I'll show that on the close-up here in a few moments, but I'm going to go ahead and switch over to camera, make a new observation, and I'm going to point it at this plant. I'm going to take a picture, and I'm going to cross my fingers and hope that my demonstration actually works. So choose related organ. Okay, so now you can do the close-up camera of the phone. So this is where I'm going to kind of select what I'm looking at here. I'm going to go ahead and choose by the leaf, and hopefully it's going to identify by the leaf. And it's actually giving me a couple of options, so it might not have worked, but we'll go ahead and see. I'm literally using this on the fly as I go. So this is coming back saying maybe lemon, maybe red capsicum, maybe basil, kaffir lime, Arabian jasmine. It's one of them. So it's there. It's just a little bit lower than I think I expected it to be. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say Arabian jasmine. That's actually what it was. So I'm going to confirm that one. This is the choice. Yes, that's what it is. And now I'm informing how this app works in the future. So this is just basically, it's just kind of a cool app for identifying plants. I've had it work better in some cases and obviously not as good in other cases. Bleak just sent me a plant. I'm afraid to open it. It's a link. I'm not doing that one, Bleak. Thanks for your help. Or should I? Now I'm intrigued.
Is it legal in California?
You know what? I think these are just innocuous mushrooms, but who the heck knows? Let's try it. All right, Bleak, you win. Let's see here. I'm gonna take a picture of the. I don't know. I don't even know if this will work. I've never done a scan of mushrooms here. Okay, so I'm gonna need help here. It says choose related organ. I'm assuming leaf is not the right way to go. It appears it doesn't really know. It's giving me question marks on all these different ways, places to go. Like you can select like how to identify it: leaf, flower, fruit, bark, habit. Probably I don't understand that. And other. And I'm getting nothing for mushrooms. Maybe there's probably an obvious reason for that. But thanks for trying, anyways, Bleak. I appreciate your support.
By the way, my husband is sending me messages right now. He uses this app.
Oh, really? Okay, so see, if you vote for me, you're voting for Flo's husband as well.
Yes.
Just saying. But anyways, you can kind of take a look through. You can get details. I don't have that set up apparently, but you can get details of different, what the contents of different pictures, information about these particular plants, other photos of them, and you can kind of see here different aspects of them. Also different stages of their growth, that sort of stuff. And ties into the Wikipedia if you want to learn more. Bleak's laughing in chat. Damn you!
By the way, Jason, those are legal in Colorado.
Oh, okay. See? So
you
got some Colorado. Got some Colorado listeners and viewers. And it's true, Out of Sync. Mushrooms are not plants. They are fungus. So there we go. This is fungi. This is not Fungnet. This is plant.
This is a night show.
Yes.
This is an evening show. Okay. So
anyways, I think it's an interesting app. Just for what it does, and I promise you it's worked better than it just did, but I'm not going to do it again because it's been a long day. So there you go. It's called PlantNet, and it can be found in the Play Store for free. And someone go invent Fungnet, says Cousin of Ja. I agree. Okay, Duncan, I've got your app installed, and I'm curious to hear what you think about it. So tell us about it.
So my app is called Birthdays. And it's as simple as it sounds. I have a Google Contacts. I keep all of my birthdays in there. I attempted for years to manage my birthdays by having alarms and reminders and what have you. And I never quite got it right. So I went looking for the app. And this, I think, is the app. As you can see on Jason's screen, he's got 2 contacts with birthdays. It tells you in order when their birthdays are, how old they'll be, how far away their birthday is. And it's a really great feature. But if you go into settings up the top there, you actually can start setting some notifications. And so I have mine set on the day at 8 o'clock, but also 2 days before, just make sure I needed to get something in that card. And then you can see a week before and 14 days before. It's really great for just getting that reminder that, a birthday's coming up. So you don't get trapped having forgotten. And it does anniversaries as well. So it just pulls it straight out of your Google Calendar, install it. It runs in the background. 8 o'clock every morning, if there's a birthday you need to know about in the next week, bam, you get a notification. It's that simple. But it has completely revolutionized me knowing when people's birthdays are. It does have the ability to reach out and contact people, but I normally just do that myself. So once I know it's someone's birthday, I give them a call, or depending on what tier you are, you might get a text message or some such thing. I find it much better than the impersonal. You get the it's your birthday on social media or so forth. And this is my way of having a more personal approach, but using the power of digital technology to not lose track of these things. And so that's it. You can use the app to link, to make a call, send a message. It's short, it's sweet, it's free on the Google Play Store. My only complaint is there's no way of paying the dev or to get rid of the advertisements. But, support your devs. I'd more than happily pay for it. I've actually been using a different version for a few years. That dev stopped updating it, so I've updated to this one. And that's it. And just remember, a vote for this is a vote for Team TG&G. I wouldn't be doing my part for the guests if that wasn't the case. So thank you.
Thank you. That's an important fact to get in there. I appreciate you doing that. This is an important tool, I would say, for myself, because I left Facebook about a year ago. And so my clarity on birthdays just dropped out of the universe, because Facebook's really good at reminding you of birthdays and just having it all linked there and easy to find and all that kind of stuff. So an app like this is important. Gotta say though, man, this UI needs some updating.
I never go into it. I just see the notification.
Oh,
and
okay.
Okay.
All right, fair enough.
So you get a material design notification and you swipe it away. It's for me. I'm also not on Facebook, so I don't get those reminders. So it is that top of mind. Oh, this is where hey.
Mateo has no business being in this episode. Get him away.
I need to update that for Team GG&G.
That would be good. Yes, high priority, Victor.
So yeah,
right
it's
on.
a great utility.
All right, Birthdays is the name of the app. Well, and there's probably a lot of other apps out there. So Birthdays for Android by OpenMe, Open Space Me. It would be nice to be able to remove the ads, but hey, there you go. Sometimes that's just how the cookie crumbles. All right, thank you for that. And then Flo, you're going to show off an app that I literally opened up this morning. I've had it on my home screen for like months, and I was finally like, do I do it? Is this the week that I do it? And I was like, no, I'm going to do this other thing. Apparently I opted for plants over your app. So what do you got?
So Jason, it's going to be fun because I can't see the video stream. So we're doing this blind.
Trust me.
So we'll try and coordinate. So let me start off by saying I chose this app because I felt kind of bad for bringing Cam Scanner last time. Because Cam Scanner costs a annual fee, and I'm at the point in my life where I've had to readjust what I'm paying for and what really matters. And because I need an app to keep track of expenses, it didn't make sense to pay for more things to track expenses. So I am, however, paying for the Play Pass, and this was an app that was included in that. And so I said, you know what, let's try it on this trip. So I'm on this business trip. I have receipts. I'm eating out. I'm taking lifts, and I want to save these receipts so that I can file them with my taxes next year for my business. So I downloaded NoteBlock. It is 100% free. It supports unlimited usage. You can export the documents to PDF or JPEG files, depending on what your tax person wants, or whatever your needs are. Of course, it's not just for taxes. You can use it for notes, sketches, drawings, any document that you need to just convert over into digital and make it look like it's not just a picture of a picture kind of thing. It includes OCR for typed text in 18 different languages, including Romanian. So if I take a business trip to my homeland, I can scan in those receipts. Maybe. I don't know if that works actually in America. Nice thing about the app is, so Jason, did you bring something to scan?
Yes, I have scanned a Sandwich and Burrito Club card.
Okay. Do you have anything else to scan? Because I would like to show something. I want to show real life scan, and I can do one with you just so that we can kind of coordinate here.
Yeah. Let me do this one again. It's the only real thing that I have. But there's some. You want something with a lot of words on it?
No, I just want to show the scanning mechanism and how it works.
Okay, yeah, talk through it. I'll follow along.
All right. So, first things first, when you're in the scanning mechanism, you can choose to upload something that's already like in your Google Play, in your Google Photos folders. I delete screenshots, I wipe them clean. So I tried to upload things that I need for later. Or you can tap on the camera icon and then you can take a picture of something. So you would just take a picture of it the same way that you would scan anything in with your phone. There's the ability to toggle between one page and multiple pages if you have maybe a multiple page document down at the bottom right. At the top, there is the ability to use the flash if you just need more of that. I'm going to use it just for funsies. And then you would tap to take a picture the way that you would anything. It's pretty quick. And when you're scanning in a receipt, you don't want the whole darn thing. You just want the important text. So what you would do is you'd adjust the green lines, move them as you need, make it smaller, make it bigger, whatever it is that you need to do to get that document just looking right. You can rotate it if you want. And when you're finished, you just tap the little check mark and it processes and makes it into a note for you to keep in your documents.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
It worked.
And you could choose from a bunch of languages if you need. To do OCR, which could be kind of fun for like Google Translate if you wanted to do that. You could share it. You can send an email, save it to your gallery, save it to internal storage, or print it if you have Google Cloud Print enabled, which I don't. Don't ask me why. It's a sore subject. So that's NoteBlock. It's NoteBlock without the K. And it's free, unlike Cam Scanner, nor was it embroiled in a controversy of stealing data, doing all that, whatever it was that happened a couple of weeks ago. So this is what I've switched to. I've dumped Cam Scanner. I'm not renewing my membership. I suggest you join me over here in this world.
I'm going to go ahead and scan one final document. It is Burke's outline of the booty bear or whatever that booty shaking. What was it? The twerking bear?
Yes. Yes, the twerking bear.
I'm assuming that's what this is. This is Burke's outline of the dimensions of the twerking bear so he can do something with it. I'm not really quite sure what.
Also, it's free of ads. It's free of ads if you have the Play Pass, so you don't have to deal with any ads.
Nice. Looking good. That is Note Block without the K, all one word. And it is on Play Pass. Or you can find it. And I don't know what the cost is. No, it's free. Wait a minute. How is it free, but it's also on Play Pass?
Because
I
Play
see.
Pass removes the ads.
That's right. Okay, sorry.
You don't have to deal
I'm
with.
slow.
Yeah.
I've been up.
And it was just
a long time
updated
today.
yesterday to include Android 10 bug corrections.
Well, good for it. That's Note Block. Awesome. So you can place your vote for your favorite app this week. Go to twit.to/AAApoll442 and place your vote. Is it PlantNet? Is it birthdays? Or Note Block? Place your vote at twit.to/AAApoll442 and we will check in on that next week. Victor is circling like a bird circling over a carcass. And what actually
describe to me what's happening?
Yes, I know. Which one did you vote for?
The birthdays one.
Birthdays gets the vote.
I do need help remembering birthdays.
Yeah, don't we all?
We all do.
Yeah. There's just we know too many people. It's hard to keep it all straight.
And Duncan's right. Sometimes a phone call is better than the Facebook.
Oh yeah.
Happy birthday.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
Or
Especially
even a text message.
Always better.
Like a morning text message, especially, and then you go in the morning.
One.
You say, I hope your day is great, and makes you feel special.
Yeah. It feels nice to get that morning text.
Yes.
It's like, oh, it's probably the same amount of effort to do that than it is to post on a Facebook wall. Actually, it's easier to post on a Facebook wall. That's why you should do the text. Don't they even have like just send happy birthday and like click this button and it sends happy birthday or something like that?
Yeah, before I left Facebook, all I get was an automated message. It was the same automated message from everyone.
Yeah.
So I felt very loved.
Exactly. Well, we've done it. We've reached the end of the episode, jam-packed full of Google hardware. It's always a big episode every year, and somehow we managed to get through this episode with not one but two hotel Wi-Fi connections. So thanks to everyone for your patience. But I think all things considered, it worked pretty darn well today. And just appreciate you hopping on with us, Duncan, Jaffrey, Ozdroid.net, Oz as in Australia. So Ozdroid, all one word, .net. Go there. You've got coverage of the device announcements today, and I'm sure you have reviews and everything in the cooker. Are you doing the review, or are your workmates doing that?
We're going to break the devices up, not literally, between us. So I will be getting one of them, and we're just figuring all that out now. I'm a bit of an IoT home automation buff, and I'm a mid-range fan, so I'm fairly certain the Pixels aren't in my future.
Got it. Well, I'm happy you had some time with it regardless. And really happy that you could spend some time with us tonight, Duncan. It's always great getting you on. And, well, this is the second year in a row that you've joined for this particular episode. So, next year we'll probably be hitting you up again.
See you next year.
That's right. Works for us, but works for you.
It does. Look, thanks for having us. We love being here.
Right on.
If you want to catch what we write, you can catch us at ozdroid.net.
Yep, and catch you at @Dunofray on Twitter. Did I pronounce that right?
You did.
All right.
It's my Jedi name.
Love it. Well, thank you again, Duncan. It's always great having you on. And thank you, Flo. It's always great having you on as well, this time from New York City. Feeling so cosmopolitan.
I don't know how Ron does it this late every week. I just want to give Ron his props right now. It's 10 o'clock over here.
Yeah.
Wow. So I am going to be home tomorrow, and I will have the phone with me probably this weekend, because I'm going to be on This Week in Tech talking about all this Google stuff.
Yep.
So tune in this Sunday. I will be on the panel. And let's see. Oh, I launched a podcast.
Yes,
by the
you
way.
Did. Congratulations.
I'm allowed to talk about that. Thank you.
Yeah.
I have no idea how I have time to do all this stuff, but you know what? you know what? We just do what we can. It's called Honestly Tech. Apple's dragging its feet on approval, but everybody else has approved it. So if you're a Spotify user or Google Podcasts or you want an RSS feed, you could go to honestlytechpod.com and you've got links over there. And Pocket Casts, of course, Pocket Casts was the first one to index me. So thank you, Russell Ivanovich. I'm forever grateful for whatever product you put out there that made me feel seen. Other than that, if you need to see me elsewhere on the internet, florencezion.com. And hey, on Twitter at OThatFlow, if you have any questions about the Pixel 4, any of the new features that come with it, let me know, because it's high time now. I'm pitching how-tos to the places where I write, and I'm really going to be diving deep into these new Google products. So if you have a question, if you want to know how something works, or you just want to know if something's worth it, hit me up on Twitter at OThatFlow and all over the internet.
That's Flo up on the internet.
Hit me up.
Love the logo, by the way, for the
and
for
also,
the podcast.
wait, one more thing.
Yeah.
Thank you. Also, one more thing, because I would like to continue shilling myself. My first piece that I wrote with Megan Maroney as my editor is up.
Yes, it is. It's a
at
great
10
piece.
Medium.
Yes, fantastic piece.
So that's what I'm pitching to Megan Maroney, and I've got my next one in the pipeline. So enjoy that.
Awesome. You are busy. I don't know how you do it, but you are a busy person.
I have not been exercising, but I'm trying to get back to that. Anyway,
you're sacrificing yourself for your work. Also take care of yourself. Just take care of yourself too. You need a little of that. We all need a little of that in our lives. Thank you, Flo. Always great. And next week,
thank you, Jace.
We will all be back here to do the show. Ron should be
in
back.
Person.
And I'm. Let's see here. I feel like very soon.
You're fresh off of vacation.
Yeah, I'm fresh off of vacation. I feel like I jumped out of the frying pan into the fire. And the next month is going to get crazy because Leo and Lisa are going to be gone. So I'm going to be doing Security Now and This Week in Google, which I'm very much looking forward to. But yes, so you're going to see a lot of me on the network. And so that's either a good thing or a bad thing, depending on your perspective. But that's going to be the next month of my life. So look forward to that. I hope. I definitely am. So it's going to be a fun month. But as for this show, thank you so much each and every week for checking out the podcast. This podcast publishes every Tuesday evening. So a little bit later from now, Victor's going to publish that. You can find it and subscribe at twit.tv/AAA. And then you're going to find everything you need to know, links to all the different places that you can subscribe, all the videos if you want to watch it on the page or listen to it on the page, whatever you need to know, it's there. Also, leave us voicemail, 347-SHOW-AAA. Send us email at AAA@twit.tv. And find Twit all over the social networks. Pick your one, pick your poison. Twitter, it's at Twit. Instagram is twit.tv. A whole lot going on. And we're just doing a lot of promoting on social. And it's a lot of fun. We're having fun with it. So we hope you're enjoying that. But that's it. Let's round it out and be done. Thank you, Victor, for your help tonight. And always appreciate your help.
Yes, thank you, Victor.
And thanks to all of you for watching. We'll see you next week on another episode of All About Android. Bye, everybody.
Bye.